Jeremy Clarkson shares health update ahead of pub opening. Jeremy Clarkson, former Top Gear host and owner of the new pub, the Diddley Squat Arms, is standing in front of the bathroom mirror, his gaze both serious and slightly sarcastic. He's wearing an old plaid shirt, grumbling that the buttons seem noticeably smaller than they were last summer. "Shouldn't have had that fourth burger yesterday," he mumbles. He's just hours away from opening his new pub, a project he calls the smartest and stupidest idea I've ever had. But there's one thing on his mind that's more important than welcoming the crowds: his own health. Last week, during a routine checkup, dragged along by his longtime girlfriend, Lisa, with a mixture of assertiveness and intimidation, Jeremy was confronted with some unfriendly numbers: high blood pressure, elevated cholesterol, and a doctor's suspicion of stress. When he got to the restriction of alcohol and fatty foods part, he simply chuckled. "That means I have to stop being myself." But this morning, something was different. Not because he had woken up earlier than usual, it was actually because the neighbor's rooster crowed at the window, but because he had decided to do something the rest of Britain had never expected: talk seriously about his health. Around 9 a.m., Jeremy posted a selfie on Instagram, standing in the middle of the pub under construction, holding a glass of carrot juice, yes, carrots, with the caption, "Before you ask, yes, I am still alive. But according to the doctor, if I keep drinking like I drive, I'll be the only person in this bar soon." Within minutes, the post had attracted tens of thousands of likes and hundreds of comments, from die-hard fans wishing him well, to people who couldn't believe Jeremy Clarkson was holding a glass of non-alcoholic juice. In a small interview with a local station shortly afterwards, Jeremy shared, "I am not planning on becoming a vegan or running marathons. But I've realized that if I want to keep driving tractors, shouting at Richard Hammond, and making fun of James May for at least another 10 years, I'd better start paying attention to the engine in my chest." Still Clarkson, of course. No apology, no sentimentality. Just a little sober, with a touch of self-deprecating irony. As the clock struck noon, the thick wooden doors of the Diddley Squat Arms officially opened. Locals, Clarkson's farm fans, and even a few news anchors were present. On the blackboard in front, instead of the usual beer, Jeremy had written, "Today we're serving juice and lemonade. Don't worry, beer is still available, but no doctor." The opening was a bustling affair. Jeremy appeared with a slightly tired smile, but his eyes still lit up whenever someone called his name. He raised his glass, real beer this time, looked around, and chuckled. "I may have to lower my cholesterol, but I'll never lower my noise." That night, when the bar was empty, Jeremy sat alone at the corner of the bar, with Lisa. She tilted her head and asked, "Do you think you'll ever really change?" He thought for a moment, then replied, "I don't think I'll live forever, but if I have to die soon, at least I want to die while I'm alive." Lisa smiled. Outside, the Oxfordshire sky had begun to drizzle lightly, but inside Jeremy's pub, the light was still warm and the laughter was still ringing. 2 weeks after the opening of the Diddley Squat Arms, life at Diddley Squat Farm seemed to be back to its usual rhythm. The cows were still plodding along like languid old men, the sheep were still bleating for no apparent reason, and Jeremy Clarkson was still grumbling about things as if it were an integral part of his daily breathing. What no one, not even he, expected, however, was that Jeremy had quietly made a serious change, which he tried to keep hidden from all eyes. He started eating salad. It started one rainy morning when Jeremy snuck into the pub kitchen, usually occupied only by the head chef, Pete. With a look of guilt on his face, he opened the fridge and pulled out a clear plastic container containing a mixture of greens, cherry tomatoes, walnuts, and a little vinaigrette. Pete looked up from the counter, frowning. "That's the salad I made for the lunch lady." "What are you doing?" Jeremy blushed, a rare thing, even rarer than driving the speed limit. "I tried a bite." just to see how bad these horrible things were. Then he picked up his fork, slowly stabbed a piece of lettuce into his mouth, and put it in his mouth as if it were something alive, and ready to attack at any moment. Seconds passed. He chewed, then chewed again, and then, a very un-Clarkson expression, he nodded. Not as bad as I thought. Pete was stunned. Jeremy swallowed and continued, but if you dare to talk about this, I'll tell the whole place you put carrots in your beef stew. In the days that followed, Jeremy began to sneak his diet. In the refrigerator at home, among the beer cans and bratwurst, there was quinoa. Of course, he hid it in an old Ben Jerry's ice cream carton so no one would notice. Lisa was the first to suspect. One evening, when she looked for ice cream, she found the carton, enchanted, with greens and chickpeas. She said nothing, just glanced at him with a meaningful look. Jeremy shrugged. It was just a science experiment. To see how the human body would react to a meatless diet. Lisa laughed. If you start drinking kombucha, I'll call the doctor. However, the plan to live healthy in the dark quickly fell apart. One Saturday afternoon, Richard Hammond and James May unexpectedly dropped by the farm. After being served 2 beers and a plate of cold cuts, they snuck into the kitchen to find something to eat. What the hell are you doing? May took a step back, muttering, "We just lost Jeremy." Jeremy was speechless, about to retort, but Hammond pulled out his phone, snapped a photo, and posted it on Twitter with the caption, "Breaking. Jeremy Clarkson caught eating vegetables. Food police have been called to the scene." Twitter exploded. Fans were confused. The tabloids were like, "Clarkson goes vegan? Where is the world going?" But Jeremy, as usual, handled it in a Clarkson way. He took a short video, posted it on Instagram, still holding a plate of salad, looking straight into the camera. "Yes, I eat vegetables. So what? I still drink beer, still drive like a maniac, still call James May Captain Slow. I'm just expanding my palate. Like expanding the track." Then he crunched a piece of kale. At the end of the video, he laughed, "Don't worry. I'm still me. It's just that now, when I swear, I do it with a healthier digestive system." Quote,